Honestly, guys, I have no idea what you're so upset about. I was just sitting here minding my own business, and then suddenly you start crying for no reason. I know you wanted the seat. I mean, it was a great view up here, but I was here first. Wait, what do you mean it's a corpse? My name is Totalbiscuit of the WoW podcast, Blue Please, on cynicalbrit.com. This is another look at the Tauren starting zone. If you've been paying attention to my bulletins, and you certainly should be, currently the EU servers are experiencing issues for a number of people. One of those issues is that you cannot log into any of your characters if you try and log into Mechatalk, which is the EU server. So it's a bit of a pain. So what I did is I went to the US server, I leveled up another Howie Cow, and I'm just going to continue this area for the time being until I can get back onto my EU characters. As much as I'd like to transfer characters over to the US server, you can't do that, although you can still play on it, which is a little weird. Now, we've finished the first zone right here, and we're heading up to Fargaze Mesa, which is a new area, and you can have a look at the wonderful plains rolling below. Nice view over there. You can also see the trees of Feralas off in the distance. Pretty cool little area. I like it very much. Now, if we speak to this gentleman over here, he will take us to our next zone. But we'll have a look at the view first. It's at this point that I'm very annoyed about the view distance in this game. So that could be great, and I know my computer can handle it, but that's the hard lock as far as I'm aware in terms of view distance. It's maxed out. Now, if you do know of a way of extending it beyond the usual maximum, please by all means let me know and I'll crank it up for future videos. Now, we've been asked to drink the Water of Vision. I don't want to know where that's been or where it came from. But it turns us into a ghostly hawk type thing. And gives us a nice little flight over to Bloodhoof Village, which will be our next questing hub. Always nice to have a look down there. You'll notice that most of the Red Cloud Mesa area is walled off. Although there is a way back. A bit more fortified than it used to be. The Tauren are no longer so complacent, and I don't really blame them. Well, the actual geography of Bloodhoof Village hasn't changed all that much. It has been a while since I rolled the Tauren, a very long time in fact, but I remember this area and it looks pretty similar. Some of the quests are the same, some have changed, and we'll go through various areas of that. But what I will say is that this zone is still very much prone to a lot of running around. A lot of open spaces, a lot of travel distance, and as a result, there's about 40 minutes worth of recorded footage within this video, and a lot of it is going to get sped up, so that you don't have to watch me spending 5 minutes running over. Now, sharing the land used to be here before, and it's pretty much the same requirement, although the nice thing about this is it's just about kill credit. You can kill any of them you like, and you'll get the credit for it nonetheless, whereas the old quest, I believe you had to kill specific mobs, so that's nice. What you'll also note is the fact that the reward is not the same. They've changed it to a cloak as opposed to the 25 flash pellets they used to give you, which were mostly useless. Paladin trainers now chilling out in this wigwam right here.
Farewell.
I suppose it's a wigwam, isn't it? A really large one. And we're going to hunt some swoops, which again I believe is the same as it used to be. And go collect some wolf paws and plain strider talons in order to deal with the poisoned well. All of these quests, to the best of my knowledge, are identical to the way they used to be in vanilla. But bear in mind, this is the beta and there is a possibility for change. I don't necessarily have a problem with them having quests, which is kill 15 of this or get 6 of these drops, but you pick them all up at the same time and you feel obliged just to go and do all of them. They are also quite spread out. You can notice the running distance here, and I'm going to speed almost all of this up for you. Regardless of the monotony of some parts of this zone, there are a few things that are worth looking at. You'll notice a buff that is stacking over there in the top right, and the fact that I've just got a new spell you won't have heard of before called Word of Glory. Those two things are related. Now, the first thing you need to bear in mind is that Paladins now have a new mechanic called Holy Power. In the current state of the beta, Holy Power is applied as a buff that slowly ticks down. You can see it in the top right there. This may become part of the UI at some point before release. I would imagine it will, since Eclipse certainly has, as have Soul Shards. So, you know, Blizzard are getting big into integrating mechanics into the UI to make it more user-friendly, which is perfectly reasonable. In this case, You can stack it up to 3, and the way that it works is that it can power numerous different abilities that don't actually use mana. Now, the one that we just learned, Word of Glory, is a heal that is powered by Holy Power, and when we finally get around to going back there, we can try that heal out, and I'll show you just how powerful it can be. Holy Power appears to stack when you use abilities. So, you see there, I gained one for using my Crusader Strike, and you can keep it stacked fairly easily. Looks to me like gaining Holy Power is not going to be too hard, and you'll be encouraged to use it as much as possible. There's a variety of things they're saying. They are claiming that there's going to be a direct damage ability, as well as a few buffs and all that kind of thing that are powered by Holy Power, and you'll get a lot of different choices as to what you want to use. Now, while these quests are almost identical to their old-school counterparts, what I would like to note is that a lot of the mobs have been tuned up just a little bit in terms of what they can actually do. So, you might notice we're fighting the gnolls, and if you were keen-eyed, you'll have spotted a number of debuffs and odd things happening. A good example would be the Pale Mane Tanner. Now, the Pale Mane Tanner used to cast Wrath, and that was it. He doesn't do that anymore. He hits you, but he can also drop a tanning solution. You might notice that it's a sort of glowing brown vial on the ground that is spewing gas all over the place, similar to the mechanics encountered in Professor Putricide in Icecrown Citadel. This tanning solution does a fairly nasty debuff plus area of effect damage. On its own, you shouldn't find a Pale Mane Tanner to be all that challenging, but if you are not careful and you pull several of them, you can expect to die a lot faster than you would have in previous starting zones. There's a couple of other examples as well. Some of the other Pale Mane mobs have some debuffs. There's one called a Scalp Slash, which actually does damage to your intellect and spirit. Kind of annoying for casters, and I imagine it probably stacks if you end up pulling too many of them. Otherwise, playing a Paladin at this level in this form of the beta is fairly enjoyable. You've got a lot of power behind you. You're pretty durable, and once you get the Word of Glory, then good luck dying. And you'll see that when I finally get around to going back there. I would also imagine they're going to change the whole null kill credit thing. That's just a note for the beta. All that means is you can kill any of these gnolls to get credit towards the quest, as opposed to having to get specific ones. The odd thing is that the quest text is still the one from the old game, so it does say you have to get specific mobs. That is not the case anymore. Quit it. This is a lengthy bit of questing. A lot of running around involved, the various areas that you have to go in order to slaughter these guys. And also, it's probably bad to draw your attention to this, but you'll probably see some artifacting around on this video. That's because H.264 doesn't deal well with high-complexity scenes, like, say, right here we've got an awful lot of foliage around. Now, this foliage will cause distortion on the video simply because there's a lot of changes made in every frame, so it's difficult to compress. Now, if anyone knows a way to help improve the quality when using H.264, or perhaps another format of similar size that would work better for YouTube, then by all means drop me a line. Alright, that's the water well we're going to have to approach. Still chilling out with the Grim Totem. In fact, a lot of the water wells are surrounded by a Grim Totem at the moment. Quit with the biting. Seriously, all of these things have debuffs, and I believe the wolves have a charge ability quite similar to the cats back in the troll starting zone. Finally get all of this dealt with, and you can thank your lucky stars that were speeding this up. Again, it's one big time sink, this area, and it always has been, I feel. It's improved. I just think they've got a bit more work to do. I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of spreading out questing areas. It's nice to be able to explore and see different things, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of grass and some water and some wolves, and it's not necessarily the most interesting of areas. I think they could probably do something about that, maybe diversify the quests a little. There are a couple of new quests in this area, though, and I will show them to you when I get the chance.
Ancestors watch.
Okay, so he's made the totem and we need to go cleanse it. This is the same as the quest back in vanilla. I'll tell you what, for a supposedly shamanistic society based on the whole bonding with nature nonsense, they do kill an awful lot of animals, don't they? Now, you'll be interested in this one. This is, as far as I'm aware, the only quest in the entire game where you are encouraged to play a wicked bongo solo. No, I'm deadly serious. But in the meantime, before we go there, let's go and hand this one in and grab our new Paladin ability, then I'll get a chance to show it to you.
What brings you here?
You will find this very odd. At level 6, we don't have any kind of mana-based healing. Not at all.
Farewell.
There we go. Okay, so Word of Glory. You'll notice it on the hotbar. It is not active because we don't have any holy power right now. We'll get it. That means I will pick up something else.
I've been expecting you.
I'm sure you have. You have spies everywhere.
Friend.
Now, as much as I'm aware of the way that quests work in WoW, it does always seem odd when I run up to someone. It's like, help, you're the only one that can assist me. What about those 50 other newbies milling around the area? No, it must be you. You are the chosen one. Save me. I've been waiting here for 6 or 7 days. Well, if you'd asked somebody else earlier, you could have been cured of this nonsense and walking around no problem at all. But I needed you! Really? Just another example of the sun rays underwater, because I like them. Unfortunately, the camera angle keeps... I don't want to see ferns and leaves and grass and nonsense. Show me the sun rays. Nice little glow effect. The lighting effects do work very well in this zone. You'll notice the sky dome looks a lot more vibrant than it used to. Good place to do it. Okay. Now, let's go beat on something. And I can show you this new mechanic. Not going to beat up the Kodos. I like Kodos. But I will beat up this stupid bird. There we go. Smack it about a bit. There's 1 stack of Holy Power. And there you go. On 1 stack of Holy Power, we get 50 healing. Bear in mind, this most likely scales with level. The most ridiculous thing is that on 3 stacks, which is not all that hard to get, you get 150, which is about as many hit points as I currently have. You can heal yourself up to full almost instantly for no mana cost. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Now we're heading all the way over to the Baeldun dig site. You may remember this area from the Vanilla. In Vanilla, this area was populated by dwarves. Now the dwarves have been slaughtered by a large selection of angry rock elementals. If you paid any attention to the quest, you will notice that something is going horribly wrong and the spirits be restless, mon. So we're going to head over there and we're going to try and calm them down. And what better way to calm them down? Bongos. You must play your funky music, white cow, and you will calm the spirits. Or maybe you won't. That's the amusing thing. And funnily enough, this sound effect, if you press it enough times, actually starts to stack up. So you've got an entire tribe of bongo-playing cows. Calm down. You're not doing anything, are you? I should probably target you. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Are you into that rhythm? Yes, you are. He likes the funk. What about this guy? Oh no, he be hating. We're not liking that at all. So, you can kill them, but as I discovered later, you can actually play the bongos again, and they will stop mucking about. We'll get them out of the way for the meantime. I do have some reasonably powerful abilities for mobs of their level. Let's try it again. Are you into it? Apparently not. These guys have no taste. They're hecklers, I tell you. Oh, and you as well? Tough crowd. Get them out of the way. The Paladin very easily deals with this number of mobs at this level. Like, oh, we're getting low on health. Well, we have this ridiculous heal we could use, so it's a non-issue. There we go. All you need to do is just keep playing and eventually they'll like you for it. That was the philosophy with my podcasts, and it seemed to work out fairly well. I hate you, Totalbiscuit. Well, if you listen to 5 years of my material, you might dislike me a little less. Or maybe not. Okay, they have been calmed down by the soothing rhythms of my fantastic bongo drums. I've skipped all of the running around. And greetings, Ahab.
Can you help me find my dog?
Indeed I will. It has been a long time since I've been in this zone. This was at the behest of one late Ezra Chatterton. You may remember the story of him.
May the eternal
May he rest in peace.
sun shine upon
Obviously, I haven't seen this quest before because I have no idea when the last time I went to the Tauren Zone was. This was certainly added after the fact. But those of you who haven't seen this quest, I'll show it to you anyway, because it's kind of neat. Now, I skipped out all of the stuff before this, which was killing the cougar to get the cougar's femur, because it took about 5 minutes to run to the area that I needed to go to in the first place, and then it didn't drop, so I had to kill a number of them to get a hold of that thing. I'm sure you don't want to see that. A lot of this zone still suffers from the old Mulgore syndrome of stuff being too far apart. That is a bit problematic, honestly. What I would say is that Blizzard has to take a note out of other developers' books when it comes to large, open, rolling plains areas. And what better game to look at for inspiration than Red Dead Redemption? What Red Dead Redemption does to encourage you to ride around instead of just using fast travel anywhere, bearing in mind that this game is based in a desert area in the Old West, which is very much empty, is it puts in supposed random events and things which crop up on the trail. And even though it's a rather long distance between towns and settlements, you'll always find something new. Now, with a game like WoW, that's quite difficult, but what you can do is you can put incidental quests in there. So say you find a Tauren who has been ambushed by Quillbore or Planestriders or something, and you help him fight them off, and he'll give you a quest. And that doesn't even have to be phased. That quest giver can just be there permanently fighting mobs that respawn or whatever. And it's like, hi, you know, thanks for your assistance. Here's a quest in the meantime. So it's about making sure that you're spending quality time in your starting zone. It wouldn't be all that hard, and I think that's something Blizzard should really consider, instead of having these wide open spaces where nothing happens. The Grim Totem are still up to their old tricks. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to deal with that.
I need a target.
I do like the flavor text on that item. That's very cool. Kind of a shame that I haven't been back to this area to see that when it was first put into the game, but, well, there you go. I don't roll alts, so that's all new to me. Okay. Out of the way, please. Thank you. Don't know why you insist on poisoning the bloody wells anyway. Just seems inconvenient for all concerned. What are you going to drink, for one thing? I bet they buy that vitamin water. Horrible overpriced garbage. There we go. You are cleansed. And also blue. A rather unhealthy chemical shade of blue, as it happens. The only thing that is left to do is go and find Kyle the Frenzied. He is running around outside of the village. I believe we saw him earlier. Yeah, doggy, 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 yeah. Why do I have the feeling that Kyle the Frenzied is going to bite my legs off? And if he doesn't, he should. Okay, fine. Showing off your heal. La-di-da. Level 10, apparently you get whatever that is. I can't remember the name of that ability. I don't play a priest, so all I do in raids is yell, heal me, maggots, heal me, and it seems to work out fairly well. I don't really care what they heal me with. Okay. There you are. Get back here. Just ignore the flies, it's fine. Huh, quite the appetite. That's cute, isn't it? Big fan of that. It's so nice when they put stuff like this in the game. I'm a cynical bastard at heart, but you can't help but smile. My name is Totalbiscuit, and you've been watching Mulgore 2. I'll most likely continue this up to about level 10, so I can show you the various different talents and things available. For the moment, however, that has been your recommended daily allowance of protein, and I shall see you next time.